Hi friends, this is myself Bhukya Chandu. I am from TTWREIS Boys Yakupura Warangal. I am studying 10th standard. So let us start our session. Friends, if you observe your surroundings, we may see things as table, books, pen, animals, plants, humans, etc. So friends, if we classify them on the basis of their life, they can classify into two types. Those are living things and non-living things. Here living things are plants, animals and humans. They require some nutrients and food and energy to perform some activities. But here non-living things doesn't require any nutrients or food or energy because they doesn't have any self movements. So friends, once you observe this picture or observe this toy, this is an vehicle which moves from one place to another place. So here friends, what does a vehicle needs to perform that activity? Yes, you are right. It needs fuels. So friends, for walking purpose, what we need? Yes, we need energy. So it may be a bit of fun, but it's true that our body can be compared to a factory or a vehicle which needs some fuels to run. In the same way, our body needs some fuels, which means nutrients to perform some activities as well as day-to-day life activities. So friends, today we are going to learn a very interesting and biologically important chapter, that is nutrition. At the end of this session, you are going to learn about what is meant by nutrition, types of the nutrition, digestion, parts of the digestion, health aspects of alimentary canal, precautions to take avoid the problems of digestive system, etc. So friends, here the process of acquiring food by different organisms in different ways is called as nutrition. Once again, the process of acquiring food by different organisms in different ways is called as nutrition. So friends, here the nutrition had divided into two types. Those are autotrophic nutritions and heterotrophic nutritions. Autotrophic nutritions are the organisms which are capable of using sunlight to synthesize the chemical compounds, and they acquire some nutrients from the soil, and they carry out the photosynthesis process, and they produce the complex food substances from simple substances. And here the heterotrophs are the organisms which depends on others for their food purpose. For example, animals. So here again the heterotrophs are divided into four types. Those are parasites, saprophytes, and halozoic and symbiotic. Here parasites are the organisms which takes food from others by and they get benefited by gaining the nutrients. So friends, we can take the example of cuscuta. Cuscuta is a dodder plant which belongs to the morning glory family. It absorbs the food from another plant or host plant and it gets benefited by the help of the specially modified roots called as Hastoria. The specially modified roots called as Hastoria. Here friends, saprophytes are the organisms which break down the food particles outside the body, then absorbs it. For example, bread mold. And the third one is symbiotic nutrition. In symbiotic nutrition, two organisms depends on each other for their food or for shelter or for both. For example, Rhizobium bacteria. This Rhizobium bacteria resides in the roots of legume plant. It fixes the nitrogen which was needed by the plant and it takes shelter from the plant. So here the mutual understanding between two organisms. That's why we named as symbiotic nutrition. And the fourth one is halozoic nutrition. In halozoic nutrition, the microscopic organisms like amoeba extends its pseudopodia around the food particle, and the food particle digest or diffusion them into cytoplasm. Friends, as we are living beings, we need to perform some activities as well as day-to-day life activities. So friends, what we need to perform these activities? Yes, you are right, we need energy. So friends, what we need to perform several activities means energy. Okay. So friends, is there any separate process to go on this digestion? Yes. In humans, there is a well-developed digestive system is there. It has many parts. Each and every part has its own function. Now, let us try to understand how the food get digested and what are the parts included in this digestive system. The human digestive system. The human digestive system or human digestive tract is also known as alimentary canal. It starts with the mouth and ends with the anus. And it has many different parts such as mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, duodenum, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. Once again, mouth, buccal cavity, pharynx, esophagus, stomach, duodenum, small intestine, large intestine, rectum and anus. So friends, before going to the process of digestion, let us observe the four terms which includes in the digestive process. Those are ingestion, digestion, absorption and defecation. Ingestion means the process of taking food inside the body with the help of mouth is called as ingestion, and the breaking down of complex food substances into simple substances is called digestion. For example, friends, if you think this is an complex food substance of carbohydrates, so if we think this is an complex food substance of carbohydrates, it should be converted into glucose into simple molecules after the digestion. So here if we think this is the complex food substance of protein, that should be converted into amino acids after digestion into simple substances. And if we think these are the fats in the complex food substances, after the digestion they are converted into fats or fatty acids into simple substances. So this is the digestion and the passage of digested food inside the body or inside the circulatory system through the walls of stomach or small intestine with the help of microvilli is called as absorption, and the passage of undigested food or waste material outside the body with the help of anus is called as defecation. So friends, let us go through the process of digestion in detail. So the process of digestion starts with mouth, or we can call it as buccal cavity. In mouth, the food undergoes both the physical and chemical changes. Here in mouth we can find teeth, tongue and 3 pairs of salivary glands. The 3 pairs of salivary glands are submandibular, parotid, sublingual. Once again, submandibular, parotid and sublingual. This submandibular located at the side of the jaw, and is parotid located at the side of the ear, and the sublingual located at the below the tongue. So here these 3 pairs of salivary glands releases an enzyme called ptyalin or salivary amylase, which acts on carbohydrates to convert them into simple maltose. So friends, here the teeth crush and cuts the food into pieces. This process is called as mastication, and here the tongue helps the food to simply mix with the saliva. And friends, here the tongue and lower jaw helps the food to move into the buccal cavity thoroughly. These changes makes the food very wet and slippery in nature. In this condition, the food is called as bolus. Here, the bolus moves into the food pipe or esophagus with the help of epiglottis. Here, the epiglottis plays an important role to direct the directions of food into the food pipe and wind into the windpipe. It doesn't allow the entry of food into windpipe and wind into food pipe. So friends, the movement which occurs in esophagus is called as peristaltic movement. During the peristaltic movement, the walls of the esophagus get contracted and relaxed continuously. This phenomenon makes the food to move into the stomach. So friends, if you think this is an esophagus, so here when the food enters into the esophagus, the walls of the esophagus get contracted and relaxed continuously. So these phenomena makes the food to move further into the stomach. So friends, our next part is that stomach. Here, stomach is a bag-like structure which has a gastric gland, and the walls of stomach grinds the food, and walls of stomach releases the gastric juice which contains an acid called hydrochloric acid and digestive enzyme called pepsin. That hydrochloric acid churns the food and kills the microscopic organisms which comes along with the food, and the pepsin acts on proteins to convert them into peptones. Here the pepsin acts on proteins to convert them into peptones. So here friends, the HCl or hydrochloric acid makes the food acidic in nature, and the food which is in the stomach is semi-solid condition. We can call it as chyme. And from the stomach, the food moves into the small quantities with the help of the spiralic sphincter, which are ring-like structure. So the food further move into the duodenum. So here friends, a duodenum is the first part of the small intestine. It receives bile juice from the liver and pancreatic juice from the pancreas. Bile juice is stored into the gallbladder for some time for the concentration. Here, bile juice doesn't contain any enzymes. It directly acts on fats to convert them into fatty globules. This whole process is called as emulsification, and here the pancreatic juice has three main digestive enzymes. Those are amylase, trypsin, lipase. Once again, amylase, trypsin, lipase. This amylase acts on carbohydrates to convert them into maltose or sucrase, and the trypsin acts on proteins to convert them into peptides or peptones, and the lipase acts on fats to convert them into fatty acids or glycerols. So friends, the food further moves into the small intestine. Here the small intestine is a long and narrow tube-like structure and coiled structure which is approximately 6 meters in length, and the walls of the small intestine releases intestinal juice. In other words, we can call it as succus entericus. The succus entericus has two digestive enzymes, those are sucrose and peptidase. These peptide acts on peptides to convert them into amino acids, and the sucrase acts on sucrose to convert them into glucose. Here in the small intestine, the food totally get digested. After the digestion, here the microvilli plays an important role to transport the digested food into the circulatory system. Here this is the picture of microvilli, which is finger-like projections which are attached to the walls of the small intestine, which absorbs the digested food and sends it to the circulatory system. Here the microvilli is richly supplied with blood with the help of blood and lymph vessels. So here further the undigested food or the waste material which is remained in the small intestine after the digestion of carbohydrates into glucose, amino acids, proteins into amino acids, fats into fatty acids or glycerols, the undigested food goes into the large intestine. Here the large intestine is very broad and short when we compare it with small intestine. Here in the large intestine, the absorption of X amount of salts, minerals and water particles are taken place, which was needed by the human body. After some time, the food moves into the rectum. Here the rectum collects the undigested food at a point and it defecates it out of the body with the help of the walls of the anus. So friends, in this way the food that we eat get digested. So we can conclude that here the human digestive system is very complex in nature, which has many reactions and many parts to digest the food. So friends, now let us try to understand this whole process by a flow chart. Here the food first moves into the mouth and then it goes to the buccal cavity. In buccal cavity, the food undergoes both the physical and chemical changes. Next it goes to the pharynx. Here pharynx consists of epiglottis. It plays an important role to direct the directions of food into food pipe and wind into windpipe. Next the food moves into the esophagus. In esophagus no digestion process occurs, only the peristaltic movement only occurs. So during the peristaltic movement the walls of the small esophagus get contracted and relaxed and the food further moves into the stomach. So the further moves into the stomach. So here the stomach contains an HCl acid and pepsin enzyme. Those two acts on food to convert them into simple molecule. Next the food moves into the duodenum with the help of spiralic sphincter. In the stomach the food undergoes with the help of pepsin and HCl and then goes to duodenum. Here duodenum grabs or absorbs the bile juice from the liver and pancreatic juice from the pancreas. Here bile juice doesn't contain any enzymes, it directly acts on food, and here pancreatic juice consists of three main enzymes. Those acts on the food to convert them into simple molecules. So next from the duodenum to the food moves into the small intestine. In the small intestine it consists of two main digestive enzymes. Those acts on food to convert them into simple molecules. And next food moves into the large intestine. In large intestine the absorption of X amount of salts, minerals, water taken place, which was needed by the human body. And the waste product or waste material which was remained in the small intestine goes to the rectum and it collected at a point and through anus is thrown out. So this is the pathway of food. Now let us try to understand by the help of a chart. Here this is an flow chart of the human digestive system including enzymes. So here the first one is pepsin. It acts on proteins to convert them into peptones, and amylase acts on carbohydrates to convert them into the glucose, and here bile juice doesn't contain any enzymes. This acts on fats to convert them into the fatty globules, and this process is called emulsification. And this amylase acts on the carbohydrates to convert them into peptides or sucrase. And here this trypsin acts on proteins to convert them into peptides or peptones. And here the next one is that lipase. That lipase acts on fats to convert them into fatty acids or glycerols. And here the sucrase acts on sucrose to convert them into glucose, and peptides acts on peptides to convert them into amino acids. In this way the food should be digested. So let us discuss about the health assets of alimentary canal. The health assets of alimentary canal. Here there is one saying that prevention is better than the cure. Prevention is better than cure. So it is our responsibility to protect our digestive system. Our digestive system. So what causes our digestive system to be damaged? Let us observe. Here, when we take high proportion of fat containing food like oil food, due to the lack of indigestion, the food which is in the esophagus moves reversely, and this causes vomitings. And whenever we didn't maintain a separate timing to eat, and when we tense up continuously, the walls of stomach releases the hydrochloric acid. That hydrochloric acid acts on the walls of the stomach and the walls of the duodenum, and it leads to the ulcer. So let us take some precautions to avoid the problems of digestive system. Those are eating food in a leisure manner. Means, as we all know that this is the 5G generation, all of us have a lot of work. Due to this reason, many of us have a habit of eating food fast. So get rid of that habit and eat slowly. And taking simple and well balanced meal means avoiding the junk food, oil food, fat containing food, or etc. And taking plenty of water and regular bowel movements means we have to take the plenty of water, because of when we take plenty of water, the food which is in the solid condition may turns into the liquidic nature, and the food will be get digested easily. And we have to masticate the food thoroughly, because of when we masticate the food into small particles, then only the enzymes which digest the food easily acts on food to digest them. So in this way, the food that we get digesting and the health effects of alimentary canal or digestive tract, and the precautions to be taken to avoid these digestive system problems. So friends, as we all know that so many of our parents or our elders were suffering from these digestive system problems. So take care of them by giving these kind of precautions. So I will thankful to our Telangana government and R.S. Prain Kumar sir, and my beloved RC, and my beloved principal sir, and my guide teacher, and my escort teacher, and this TSAT who held this program in a beautiful manner and who gave me this wonderful opportunity to teach in front of you. Thank you everyone.